test suite is successful. So this tutorial is not aimed at explaining you how the testng functions, okay, what are the annotations. I personally ask the followers to go to the testng site and learn a basics about testng. So the testng Eclipse plugin helped us to run the testng suite, where the Selenium commands executed against the RC server. The RC server opened the browser and executed the commands to open the site home page and the rest of the stuff. So now let me debug this so that you can see one by one how the browser is opening, and step by step. Let me do right click and select the toggle breakpoint and run debug as testng test. This is the way you can debug the step-by-step test case. If when you are debugging is one of the powerful way that helps you if you are run into any problems. So now the testng test case is running in a debug mode. The Eclipse IDE is recommending us to switch the Eclipse workspace into a debug mode. Click S to open the debug perspective. So in the debug perspective you will get the breakpoints and all the necessary things. Now you can see the first which step or test case that is executing is open the browser. Click on F6 and you can see the browser got the welcome page got opened. After that it is doing the series of verifications. So this is the way you can have a better control over the test case execution. If you run into some problems, simply toggle a breakpoint, right click and run it in the debug mode, and you can easily fix the problems that occurred in the test suite. The complicated test suite which I recorded using the Selenium IDE and tweaked them according to my need. Now if you see, this test suite, login test suite, will open the login page and click on the login page, open the welcome page, click on the login link, and the wait for method, it waits for at max 30 seconds to get the response from the server. After that it will key in the username and password and click on the submit button and verify whether user successfully logged in or not. So this test suite welcome view opens the welcome page, type keys in the username and password and clicks on submit button and go to home page of the user and verify whether the user is successfully logged in or not. The simple way to do it is right click, select run as and click on the testng test, and the test cases starts running. Here you can see the server is listening and it is opening the Firefox browser and running the test cases. The Firefox browser is got opened and keyed in the values and verified for the thing. So this test case was successfully passed. In this manner you can automate all the test cases, or you can automate all your web application using Selenium. So now let's go to a bit detail into Selenium commands, terminology, and what are the best ways to organize your test cases. Hi, let's go in detail of Selenium IDE and components. As we discussed, the Selenium consists of three main components, which is a Selenium IDE and an RC control. This is the remote control server which is running, and Selenium grid. You might get more information about Selenium grid in the Selenium site. Let us concentrate only on the Selenium IDE and the Selenium server. Now we have a Selenium server running, and Selenium IDE which we have as now. Let us see what a Selenium command. We already know that a Selenium executes a set of commands against the Selenium server. A typical command consists of three things: a command and a target and a value. So a command can take two parameters or one parameter. For example, a click command will take the target like link equal to login, where it executes the click command over it. Now let us see a verified text. It is a command which verifies whether a particular text h1 element has a value download or not. So these are the typically commands can be classified in three ways: actions which perform particular action, and accessors which will help you to read the element contents of that element, and assertions which will help you to validate a particular data was present or not. So a simple assert title, a simple assertion which will help you to see whether the welcome page title is welcome or not. So a click command which will execute a click on the login link, typically a anchor tag. So most of the cases we record the test cases and format them as an Java program and execute. So in most of the scenarios the things goes very well, but in typical cases what happens is if the test cases get failed, that may repeatedly happen by when the developers are doing the development, they might change the alignment of the components or component IDs. So these are the cases which typically comes where your test case file fails and you need to fix the test case. So in those cases the simple way for you to identify whether a particular element is available or not in a particular location, you need to have different tools. Now I'll show you. I have a Firebug which is a utility which will help you to identify this type of for example, if the developer changed the text field name, let us see in this login page, you created the test case in this manner, and you observe that ID of username is changed by the developer, like username 2, and your test case got failed because the element is not identified. In such case, you can rely upon the HTML debugger tools like Firebug, which comes with as an Firefox plugin. You install it, you right click and you say inspect element, so it will show you that the element ID. So this is a way you can easily identify any particular. Right click and you can say inspect element, which will navigate you to the element. So another simple thing is, instead of changing the code and modifying it, you can always use a Selenium IDE. Now let me show you. Like I want to identify the element username, like for the click command I want to identify the username. So here you can see the element username is identified by the Selenium IDE. So which is very easy for you to find the elements. Now come back to the agenda. So what are the best practices while you are automating a Selenium test cases? You need to identify, most of the cases you need to identify the elements by their IDE. So have the static IDEs for each and every element and identify the elements by their IDEs. So this is one of the best way. If you are having a dynamic IDs, you can go with an XPath identifier or the way. Use most tools like Firebug, Web Developer and XPath Viewer, which will help you to identify the elements in the HTML. And in most of the cases, while you are automating, so you should have an util methods like a login util which will automate only the login test cases, and homepage util which will automate only the homepage test cases, and those util methods should be run independently. Then you have a wrapper like test cases which will call login test cases and homepage test cases, so you can jumble them across to create your test suite. And a test driver, it's nothing but an XML or a small text file which will execute the test cases. So you need to have a test driver where you write or where you declare your test cases, and test cases will call util methods, and util methods executes the test cases. So this is a way you can organize your test cases. So for the benefit of others, I deployed the application as a Google app in the Google App Engine at balaji-seleniumtutorialapspot.com, where you can access the current web application which I demoed in this tutorial. At last but not the least, I want to thank CA Technologies and their cloud computing division, where I love to work with them. Thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.